I was like, I'm gonna kill this.
I'm gonna kill the game.
I was, yeah. Oh, the CD burners. Do you know?
Oh, yes, I forgot.
Do you know Freddie? What's Freddie's last name? From Ben Harbor. What was
Oh,
it?
Freddie.
From the radio station.
Yeah, Freddie. Oh, when I DJed at the radio station, me and Ellis Bethe.
Yeah.
It was down there off of Water Street. What's Freddie's last name? Freddie was the program director.
Yeah.
And I worked about maybe a couple of months there.
Yeah.
But they moved that sucker around like.
So let me tell you a story about Freddie.
Yeah.
So Freddie actually was from Covert, Michigan. So when my mom and dad got divorced, my mom lived in Ben Harbor. At some point, my dad moved to Covert.
Right.
So when I'm in Covert, I had some DJ friends. My buddy, Boogie Down Brown, he goes by, his real name's Chris Brown. Not the R&B singer. I'm sure he gets teased all the time. But and when he DJ'd in Kalamazoo, he went by Boogie Down Brown. Now he's like, I think in Tennessee or something, and he just goes by his first and middle name, I think Chris Mark or whatever. Right. But we were DJ pals. But Freddie's a little bit older. And Chris was like, oh, this dude named Freddie, you know, he's a pretty cool guy. He's a DJ. And they had a rec center in Covert. And he would run out the rec center and throw parties. And he'd bring in what was the guy? His name was Chris. I forget his last name. But him and another guy would try to throw these parties. And they're older than us. Right. But what they would do is they'd let us get on. They had turntables. And, you know, to them, we're like DJing for free. We're just, we're having... You know, this is our peers, and we're playing music for them. And so Chris and I would take turns, and we would DJ. But anyways, I don't remember all the details. But somehow, Freddie had acquired a transmitter, and he had it hooked up in his mom's house in the bedroom. So after school, and it was funny because it was one of those little small 500 watt deals. And we would go in his bedroom after school, and we would DJ in his bedroom, and it was broadcast just in Covert.
In Covert, oh.
Yeah, just in Covert, right?
That's
and
awesome.
I think he got in trouble for that. I don't remember. I don't want to speak ill of him because he was always cool with me, but I don't know what happened.
You gotta have an FCC license.
Well, there was something that happened, and then Freddie, the radio station was no more, and we didn't see Freddie for a while.
Yeah, well, because it probably bled through other stations.
I don't know all the details. I don't remember. Maybe Chris can leave it in the comments. But I remember he went away, and like a year or two later, I ran into him. He's like, "We got this station in Benton Harbor. You should swing through."
Right.
Yeah, and he was the one that put me up on burning things on CD.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, oh, man, you could burn things on, because he was a real technical dude. Right. And who was the other guy that was at the station? Really smart dude, but he was just like a little off. I don't want to say he was off. He kept to himself. He was like kind of, but really smart.
I'm trying to figure out.
A little bit bigger dude. But he was always at the station. Like,
I can see his face, but I don't remember his name.
And I remember him. And he would be like, yeah, you can burn the CDs. Take your music and burn it on the CD.
Yeah, like, okay.
And I was like, oh, man. And Freddie had a computer and stuff like that. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And I can't remember if Icon gave me the CD burner or if Freddie did. I feel like Freddie gave me the burner.
I got my first CD burner from Gino J.
Did you?
I walked into his house, and Gino has this room.
Yeah.
Off to the left, and he has all kind of music memorabilia and microphones, and where he would burn discs and CDs. I'm looking at him; he's making movies. I'm like, you know, how can I get one of those? Oh, that's one right here, Bone. Sold it to me. Right here, Bone. Only $29.99. Yeah. And I bought it from him. And I could burn 2 CDs at one time. The top one was the original CD, and the 2 bottom was the burners. And man, I thought that was a thing to slice bread. I was like, ooh, you can make some CDs now. Yeah. And also back then, the CD game, you remember how people started stepping up their CD games? how when they were selling CDs, they get them in the case. They would get out and get artwork for them.
Yeah.
Now they're on the back. Hey, there's a music list. You know?
Yeah.
It went from regular CDs in a little paper envelope to everybody starts stepping their game until things start happening.
Yeah. No, I remember those days. I went to Chicago, that Hip House Records,
right?
And they used to have these mixtapes. And Bad Boy Bill is like one of my idols, and he had a mixtape, and it was Hot Mix number 3 or 4 or whatever, and I bought it.
It's on B96, right?
Yeah, he did GCI and he did BMX. Yeah, he's a really good house DJ.
I could get B96 really good, but I couldn't get the other ones.
Yeah. So, which is funny because if you're downtown Chicago, there was a time where you couldn't get in B96 because those broadcasts from Sears Tower. Sorry, Willis Tower, but back then we called it Sears. I still call it Sears Tower. So, if you were right there by Sears Tower, it wouldn't come in. But if all the way over across the lake, it came in fine.
Boom.
But so I'm listening to that, and I was like, oh, this is where it's at. So. One of us called Bill, I think it was Icon, and said, "Hey man, how do you make those tapes?" Because they were professional.
Right.
He goes, there's a church down the street. They make them for me. And he said, yeah, they make these machines that you could just put them in, and it'll record like 3 or 4 tapes at a time. Because that's how they made. I mean, that's how they made tapes, right?
Right.
They had to record them, and we were like, no kidding, right? And I was like, oh. This is crazy.
We gotta get down there.
Because I was like doing, these. I had a dual cassette,
right?
And I would just do it. And then I went to you remember disc makers?
Yes.
You could order blank tapes from them, and you could order the labels. And then they came out with the inkjet printers.
Oh gosh.
And Bill's mixtapes were white with black ink, but his were professionally printed and stuff. Mm-hmm. Whoever did it for him did it really nice. But he was moving tapes. I mean, he was
weight.
He was not playing around.
He was moving weight, baby.
I was like, oh, I could do this. And I had all those tapes, but it was so time consuming to dub them. And then I would go to Kinko's. So I ordered the cases, and I'd have to put the stickers on by myself. I'd fold them on there.
Right.
I bought a shrink wrap machine.
Awesome.
And I'd shrink wrap them. I'd go to the stores. I'd like to sell these. They didn't know they were mixtapes.
Right.
I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, sure. We can put them on consignment.
Yeah.
And I was selling them in New York.
They were flying
I had a distributor. I'd ship them because you could buy this box, and it held 25 cassettes. And I'd load that up and I'd ship it to them, and I was shipping them all over.
Ship it to them.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when the CD burners came out, I was like, oh,
it's time.
Yeah. When I found out that, but when the CD burners came out, I was like, oh, I got to be the first one on this.
Right.
But some of us did the opposite. We went backwards, right? So I remember. Do you remember Day Day?
Yep.
So
Day
Day came to my house, and I used to have a recording studio. That's one of my favorite people of all time. Day Day is one of my.
Day Day is a lot of people's favorite people.
He's just a character, right?
He is.
He's a character, and he would come over, and we spent a lot of time in the recording studio, and he wanted to produce an album, and it was he called it the Born Hustler Project. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we recorded that at my house.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he
Day-Day.
called me up, and he was like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. And then, local rappers are funny. He contacted all these local rappers at the time. He's like, I'm going to do this project. They swing, they would swing through, we'd record. And he gets ready to press up the CDs. I think he ordered like 1,000 CDs.
Right.
He goes out to a club, tries to sell the CDs. Every one of those, he was like, guys, we got momentum. Let's do another CD. They were all, I'm doing my own solo project on my own. Every one of them, right? I can do this on my own. Day Day also, though, in their defense, Day Day was a big fan of Damian Dash. And this is when Damian Dash was storming into Def Jam and kicking down the doors. Don't talk to my my artist talking about Jay-Z and all this stuff. And
you just write the checks.
Yeah. So he thought, and I remember I had a private conversation. Well, it's not private. I'm going to say it because he won't mind that I share the story. But we right before a recording session, he was like, "Have you seen that? Have you seen Damian Dash from Rockefeller? He doesn't play around, Mix." And I was like, "Yeah, but I mean, I don't know." And he goes, "I'm telling you, sometimes you got to be a jerk. Sometimes you're just going to have to." I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know." And that's not really who Damian is, right? So then the rappers would come in and they'd spit their verse and they're like, "Oh, can I do that again?" He's like, "We don't have time for that."
Spit your shot and get out of here.
He was like, "Nobody has time for that. We're next guy." And I was like, and then they were like,
damn, okay.
They would pull me aside and they're like, "Is there any way I can re-record it?" And I was like, "I got a DJ, you know." I said it was pretty good, you know. And but he was not always, he really felt like to get stuff done and execute things, you just need, everything had to be this way, and people didn't like you. But anyways, so mixtapes, DJ mixtape, like mixtapes they know nowadays, it used to just be DJ mixtapes, and they would mix the popular songs. Right. And every once in a while, you get an artist or rapper that you would do like a remix and let them get on a popular beat or something. Right. And he came to the studio one time. He's like, "None of these rappers want to swing through. I don't know what to do. I'm very frustrated. I've got this momentum. I started a magazine." I said, "Dude, just make mixtapes like me." He said, "Will you help me make the mixtapes?" I said, I don't have time. And and I said to him, I swear to God, I go, "Dude, you don't even need to mix the songs together. Just pick out a bunch of tracks that people like and just make a compilation." Right. You know, if you're just burning them and selling them to people. Right. And we never, at that moment in time, we didn't realize that you're like bootlegging or copyright infringement.
No. When did that transpire? What was the program that made all that come to light? What was the program?
Napster? Yeah.
Napster. When Napster hit the scene, everybody was in trouble.
Yeah, as that one guy from the drummer from Metallica, he was real mad. Yeah. But I get it. But it's also weird, like, I don't know. But Damien, I remember him going, "Mix, can you help me?" And I said, "Sure." And he came to the studio and he gave me a list of songs that he wanted to put on it. And I said, "All right." So I organized it. And I said, "This is the software I use to burn the CDs. This is the type of CD burner I have." And that was on my computer in the recording studio. And I didn't have one of those decks. Right. He goes, "All right, thanks, Mix. I really appreciate you." And he goes, "Do you think if I get the software and stuff, I could probably just do this on my own?" I say, "Yeah, of course, man." He goes, "All right, cool." I just start DJing like crazy. I don't see him for months, like 3 or 4 months. He would call me. We'd check in with each other, but I didn't really see him. So I had a break in my schedule. I call up Damien. I said, "What are you up to, man?" He's like, "Oh, swing through." He was at the factory. I don't remember if it was the factory. I text Slice about the name of the factory. He goes, "I don't know, man."
Oh, no.
He had to text somebody and ask him.
But you remember Paul? It was Paul's club, wasn't it? Was it?
At some point in time, yeah.
We get a hold of Paul. I can't remember the name because we all used to be there.
Yeah, but what was funny is, I thought it was funny. We were talking about it, and I text Slice. I was like, "Hey, man, what did they used to call?" Well, he texted me about something else. And I said, "Man, what did they used to call the factory?" He goes, "Man, I don't know." Wait, don't get sidetracked. Okay. So Damien says, "I'm going to be there." I said, "All right, I'll swing through. I haven't been out in a while. It'd be nice to just hang out." Right. I get there. Remember how he used to have like his little station up there right when you walked in the door?
Walked in the door.
And I walk up there, man. He's got movies.
Yeah. Oh.
He had everything, right? And he gave me Drumline. He had the bootleg of Drumline on VHS.
I bought a couple of those.
Yeah. And I was like, he was like, "You got Drumline? You seen the movie Drumline?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Here you go, Mix, on me." He gave me a stack of movies and DVDs. And I came home and we watched all those movies. And it was funny because my first wife, she was like, Can you talk to Day-Day? She started putting in requests for movies. And then, then they kind of, but what happened was those mixtapes that DJs were doing started doing more sales than the actual artist. Yeah. And it was cutting into, because there was in New York, Canal Street. They used to have bootleggers that just had
all down the street,
all up and down the street. And Bad Boy Bill at some point licensed his mixtapes. So what he would do is buy the rights to the record, like a real compilation album. And most of the time it was on his record label anyways, so he had rights to do that. And then he would blend those songs. I know like Behind the Decks was that way.
Right.
And but DJ Drama Drama was like driving some fancy sports car and stuff off the money he made selling other people's songs. And so
he got in big trouble too.
They raided his facility.
I think he did some time behind that. They had like,
I can't remember.
I think he did some time because he had got raided and they found like hundreds and thousands of tapes, CDs, already done, and even old stuff he had done. They were like, "Oh, hey, look what else we got here."
I had mixtapes in every store within like a 2 hour.
I remember walking into stores in South Bend, seeing,
I had them in Rice's Records. Yep. I had them in Nightwinds and Niles and in Benton Harbor.
You did.
I stopped.
You had them at a couple of Indian stores I walked into.
I had them in gas stations too.
Yeah, a couple of Indian gas stations. Yeah. I'm like, Kid Mix. I'm like, dude, you everywhere, man. Why don't you walk in the store and can't walk in the store and I see your mixtapes?
I was
proud of you. I was like, yeah.
I did okay. I did all right. But I stopped, and here's why. I don't know if I shared the story with you.
No, you have not.
So Nightwinds and Benton. So I tried to drop off, because you would sell them on consignment. So maybe they're selling them for $12. Right. That means that I would get $10. Right. So you drop off 20 CDs, and you come back, they sold 6. Right. So they just write me a check for $60. Then I'd leave 6 more and I would try to make these routes, right. And I was DJing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that.
Right.
So Mondays and Tuesdays was when I was able to do most of that stuff. And I had them all the way up in Grand Rapids. I sold them there was a record store in Kalamazoo called Flipside.
I remember that.
In Grand Rapids on 28th Street, there was a record store. I sold a lot out of that one too. I started shipping them to Brooklyn. And then we actually opened a record store. Icon opened a record store, and I ran it in St. Joe. And we were selling them out of there too. Wow. And then I would take them when I DJ'd. Mm-hmm. When I DJ'd at that 54th Street in Grand Rapids, I'd sell 20 to 30 of them. I'd make $200-300 extra CDs. I put it in and play it.
Right. And they were like, "Oh,
every song I get on the mic, I was like, this is my new mixtape. If you guys want to get it, it's $10. I got the CD right here. Come up to the DJ booth and see me."
Right. You play a portion of it.
They come up there. Yeah, and by the end, I was like, "Hey, I don't have any more, whatever."
Like, damn it.
Yeah. And I was just selling them like crazy. So one day, I go in to Nightwinds in Benton Harbor. And you remember Shamante?
Yes, I do.
She used to run it. She said, "Hey, kid, what's up?" I was like, "I got some tapes and stuff." And she was like, "Hey, come here for a minute." She pulled me to the side. They had that little office off on the side. She pulls me to the side. She goes, "Hey, I just want to let you know that the FBI came in the other day." I was like, "For what?"
What?
They started asking a bunch of questions, like, who's Kid Mix? When does he come in? And do you know who Kid Mix is? Do you know who is Now, we went to school together. Right? So she knows my real name.
Right. Know the government name, baby.
So she goes, "Don't worry. I didn't say nothing. I told him you come in on Fridays." And we just both kind of smile.
Right.
She said, "But they're asking about those mixtapes. Asking me if you have permission and stuff like that." And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, just sell what you have left.
Right.
And, okay.
I'm coming on Monday.
Go ahead and write me, I was like, go ahead and write me a check for the ones that I sold.
Right.
And she said, okay, I'll do that. I'll just tell them that I think that was it. And I don't think I even went, I think there were like 3 or 4, but I used to sell cassettes and CDs.
Right.
I think there were 3 or 4 of each left over. I sold them in Orbits in South Bend. I mean, they were everywhere. Dude.
I know. I told you I couldn't walk in anywhere that sold vinyl, and I didn't see your name with your tapes.
Yeah.
Or your CDs there.
Yeah. I wanted to sell them in Chicago, but that happened about the time there was a time where I was so busy, it was hard to keep up with everything that I was doing by myself because nobody was helping me.
Was that the only site that somebody said that?
Yeah, like that made me real nervous, and then I realized, like, oh yeah, that's right, this is copyright, and you can't, like, I don't know, it's.
Yeah, but who would turn them on to you?
Well,
some hating ass.
Listen,
DJ.
no, listen. Here's what happened though. Probably within about 3 so Drama got arrested like 3 months later. So there was something going on. It's the record labels.
Well, the hip hop cops were out too.
Yeah,
but
the record labels. So I got a couple of cease and desist. So also I was selling them on eBay. And I was on
like Tony Montana CD, the CDs.
I was selling them on eBay. I was selling them on eBay, and I just put like the artwork and a bunch of pictures of it and an entire track list, you know.
Dude, what gave you the drive?
Listen, I grew up very poor.
Right.
Very poor. So, like, I'm talking like no heat in the wintertime poor.
Wow.
Right.
Right.
And so,
when I get on top, I'm just not gonna stop.
Yeah. It was like I didn't want my kids to like deal with some of the things I had to do.
Right. Yeah.
And I just remember like being younger going, I'm never gonna ever be in this situation again.
Right.
Yeah, we'd have to circle back to that, but there was a time where I was scrambling to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew a couple of things that I needed to do something legitimate.
Right.
And I wasn't sure what I had the skill set for it because I got in trouble in high school. I didn't graduate on time.
Right.
I was just kind of figuring it out, but I also had a really, really rough childhood. Like, not like my parents were good parents, but we were just poor. We were just poor, dude. Just poor. So that was the motivation. I was like, oh, I can make $10 doing this. Yeah, bet. Yeah. I'd lose sleep over it.
I'll put 30 CDs in there and see what will come out.
Yeah, I'd lose sleep over it.
I'll make my own record company.
But then part of me also was like, because I had a bunch of friends that got arrested for things and went to jail, and I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm too good looking. I can't be in prison.
Yeah, neither of us. Yeah, they'd be like, huh, you're looking like a young tender. No, me too. I thought the same thing. Yeah, no,
I'm joking.
No,
but I was like, I got to figure this out. So when she said that, I was like, But luckily, when she told me that, I was DJing a lot, and I was like, okay. All right. Well, I'm just going to have to take this time and energy and focus on DJing. But what amazed me about Day-Day, when he was doing his thing, I saw him a couple months later. He's like, check out my new house. We just bought this house.
Right.
I was like, word?
Selling CDs? Yeah, because he was selling the Hustler CDs.
He was selling those, and he had the movies and stuff. And it was funny because I saw a movie where they had the bootleg show up at the barber shop.
Yeah.
And he was on the verge of that stereotype, like, because he was going to barber shops and beauty shops, asking people what they needed.
He was not. He was a hustler too. I remember getting the magazine. Talk, come here.
Yeah.
Cup of tea. It's a Born Hustle magazine. I was like, Daddy, this is good. It was like, it was like, I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was fun. But I mean, I do remember having gone through all those experiences. I don't know. I enjoyed that.
Right.
It didn't. I mean, I obviously, but yeah, I got the eBay one. I got some letters from record labels. Oh yeah.
Cease and desist.
Cease and desist. Cease. You can't sell this.
You gotta go.
And they would tell you why. Sean Paul does not like you. Sean Paul, I can't play certain Sean Paul records Oh yeah. Yeah,
Just give
and
me the light and pass the draw.
he's from Canada.
Is he?
Yeah. So if you notice, like when I can play Sean Paul records, if he's a feature,
but not his original stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
I could play some Michael Jackson records, but I can't play Sean Paul.
Can't play Sean Paul. Oh gosh.
Yeah, but that was the first cease and desist letter I got.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, And I had a buddy in Florida. He had a workaround. He'd sell flyers, and it'd come with a free CD. Well, I mean, they probably got to him too.
Right.
You know.
God. I never knew this. This is the first time I hear this story.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that email. I think it was Sony or Universal, one of those big companies. They sent me an email because you put contact information in.
Yeah.
And they said cease and desist. They may have bought one on the sly.
Yeah, to see who you are, try to figure out.
Well, just to see how I was doing.
How good this guy is. Oh, he's making money.
Wow.
He look at the blend. You hear the blends? He's blending those so beautifully. We didn't think about blending together like that.
Yeah.
We gotta find out who this kid.
But a lot of record labels back then, they didn't care because you were actually, like the way I did it, I didn't play the whole song. If you wanted to hear the whole song, you'd have to go out and buy the thing anyways.
Right. You're like doing promotion for
But those were mechanical. You had to buy. You were buying stuff.
Right.
Now that it's streaming, you don't make any money.
No, you don't make anything. You gotta know. You gotta learn the streaming game to get money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I saw a documentary where a producer said he knew nothing about streaming. He had to go to the scratch and figure out how to do streaming. He had to go back to the drawing board to figure out, because he had been a producer in the studio and worked with the company, but he said music had made a turn for selling it. You can't sell them. You can sell them in stores, but streaming was the way to go for kids of today. That's where the money was at. That's where the money is at, streaming. And what's his name? I'm gonna tell you his name next time I see him. His artist did a song with Robin Thicke.
Yeah.
He did a feature on the Young Girls album. I'll tell you next episode. But streaming is the thing of the day, and if you can get the streaming game down, you got it.
I got so my son, my third son, Eric, he's got stuff. He goes by Tinko. Right? Tinko. I'm a little jealous.
What?
Oh, he's so good. He's so good. He's so good.
I played a good teacher.
Yeah, he's so good. Oh, you'll hear he puts in those the low end kick drums, and he's a class. He took band his whole schooling career, so I mean he can program and make music, and these beats are just hard.
I can see him beats. Being like the Honorable C Note.
They're so good. But he's also kind of nerdy. He'll be like, "Hey, Dad," and he wears glasses. "Hey, Dad,
what do you think about this beat?
What do you think about this?" And you hear it, and it's like, boom, and you're like, because his drops are crazy sick. They're crazy, and I'm so mad too because I did a bunch of house tracks, right? He's like, I don't like house music. I don't like house music. I don't like house music. I said, I'm telling you, dude, I'm telling you. And we always go back and forth. He's the one that I went to the store and bought myself a hat. He's always making fun of me. So he goes, I just made an album. You want to listen to it? He always does it when we're in the car going somewhere. I was like, yeah. All Detroit style house music. So good. What? So way better than mine. Way better.
Gosh.
But in the beginning, I said, just make them for fun. Make sure you make one once a month or whatever. You'll get better at it. Mm-hmm. Well, quickly, he was making really good songs. And he didn't have, I went out and bought him the software. And I was like, you're the son of Kid Mix, man. You can't be making music with a garage band. Yeah. You're not out here.
Loose maybe, but not garage.
You're not out here representing yourself. Yeah. You're the son of Kid Mix. So we gotta get you some better sounds.
Can't be messing up the legacy.
We can't be doing the garage band sounds. But there are a lot of rappers that produce songs on garage band.
Right.
But he was telling me, yeah. I was like, no, let's get you a little bit better sound.
Get some more.
What software you want? We'll buy it. Yeah. But he did one in garage band. I was like, I don't know, 10 songs. I said, dude, let me just put it out on some streaming platforms, see how it goes. He's like, I don't even really like it. And I was like, just let me put it out there.
Right.
Oh, that jerk. He gets like 100,000 streams every year.
Every year.
Yeah. And they're just instrumentals.
But you did your job though. That's
well,
like
we put it out.
Listening.
He gets so mad because so now he streams his own music.
Right.
But he didn't know how to do the streaming and stuff. I said, I know how to do it. Let me do that. I'll help you out with that. Because I was trying to figure it out too. And it was funny. I said, well, I already got the account set up.
Right.
Because I was curious about it too. And I had an old song that I did with Biz.
Okay.
And I did it like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, oh crap, I need my credit card. I had to go, I don't have a t-shirt on. I'm sitting in my gym shorts, barefoot on the computer trying to figure out how to do this. And I posted a song and I said, oh, okay. And then it came out a couple of days later on Apple Music and Spotify and all those. I was like, oh, that's how you do it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. So I had just done that and I was like, let me just put them out there and see what it does. And I put it out there. Oh, he's killing me on those streams, right?
Oh my gosh.
And then I don't know what his numbers are now, but I have a song that's like 1.3 million streams. It's called Touch My Body.
Right.
It's house music. It's a nice song. I like it. I made it.
Right.
I think I made like $34 on it or something.
We got to figure out how you can make more money on it.
Well, I'd have to go DJ places.
I have to. I would like to hear that song too. I'm a big house head.
But it's funny because you check it. When things go viral, that song had, a couple hundred streams, right. And then you check it like a couple months later, it's still like 300-400 streams. And you check it's like 4,000 streams. You're like, oh, that's interesting.
All right.
Then you check it again, and it's like 10,000 streams. You're like, oh, hey, that's kind of cool.
I'm starting to like this.
Yeah, and then it died down for a minute,
mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think Preach has been doing mixed shows. I think he plays it on his mixed shows because he said, I'm going to remix that Touch My Body song.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. Actually, he did it. He didn't even ask me. He just did it.
Just did it.
Yeah, and put it on YouTube. And I listened to it, and I was like, oh, hold on, Preach. Just relax.
Yeah.
I was like, send me the parts. Because, I'm real
picky how
I was. And he was like, it sounds fine. I was like, yeah, I'm not saying it sounds bad, but just send me the parts.
Let me polish it up.
Let me do it. Let me master it. He goes, you don't need to master it. I said, let me master it. Yeah. And so he was like, okay. And we re-released the remix. But both of the songs are doing well. But the original,
right,
is it's doing well. It's doing well on streams and stuff. And I looked because you could check how much money you make,
mm-hmm.
And I was like, but before you get down to the bottom of the total, you see the streams. So I look at it and I'm just like scrolling through, and I got a bunch of songs, and it shows you each platform that it's on,
right?
And then that gets boring because there's a lot of details. So you just click on by song, and I checked it was like 1.1 million. I was like, what? Is there a decimal in there?
Missing something?
Am I missing something? And I looked at it. I was like, oh crap. Well, that's cool. Then I hurried up. Scrolled over to look, and it was like $34. I was like, oh, that sucks.
That sucks.
That's horrible. But yeah, if I keep doing that. Same with YouTube. I have another YouTube channel that's got like 1 million streams on it.
Right.
Yeah. You don't make a lot of money off streaming unless you go mega crazy viral.
Yeah.
So like when you have like Drake and or that Cat Williams. Mm-hmm. Interview or whatever,
right.
With Shannon Sharp.
Shay.
How many streams did that get? It's like 50 million or something, right?
I have to go look at that, but who was it? Marlon Wayans was on his show recently.
Yeah,
and he got some good stuff,
But did you hear that Vlad TV invited him? DJ Vlad invited him to come on. Marlon said, "You got to pay me $40,000."
Invited who on? Shannon Sharp?
No,
or
Marlon.
Oh, Marlon. Marlon said, "Oh, I think."
And Vlad was like,
I think him and Marlon are not getting along.
Yeah, it's because of that.
Because of that, But
yeah.
Vlad, I didn't know Vlad was a white guy until I seen his.
Oh,
he was being interviewed on the Drake show. with
You didn't know that?
Noriega. No, he sounded like a brother. Whatever. Like, this dude's like this. And then
I don't know. Well, first of all, I don't know what you mean because he used broken English. That sounds a little
he has
racist.
a smooth black man's voice.
He has
He's like, he doesn't sound like a regular white guy.
Regular. Whoa.
Yeah, broken English. And I was like, the tone, he sounds like a black guy. I'm like, I see his face. I'm like, Vlad's white.
Yeah. Well, he's Russian. He always says that too. I don't know
after I seen the haircut, the bowl cut, I'm like, you gotta get rid of the haircut.
Oh yeah, that's Caesar.
Yes.
Yeah, Caesar.
Vlad's got to get rid of that. I thought Vlad was a brother.
I think that's a thing for some people because when I go to the barber, I've pretty much had the same type of haircut. Well, right? And I've just had it since I was a kid. When I go to the barber,
not Vlad, man. That haircut is not becoming.
Yeah, but if I go to like a hairstylist,
right,
and I'm describing, I want it short on the sides and a little long and the thing.
On the top.
And I don't put product in my hair